Hi, my name is Teresa Richards and I am a mindset and productivity coach for perfectionists. I'm the host of the Valued Life podcast where I help you conquer your fear of failure, stop procrastinating, and create mindful productivity systems so that you can achieve more in less time without stressing out. I'm so happy you're here. So let's jump right into the episode. In this episode, we're going to be talking about 5 simple ways you can incorporate mindfulness into your daily life, especially when you feel really busy. So I've included things that I've done personally, things that I know have actual benefit in my own life, but also in the life of my clients, and also it's backed by research. So everything I talk about is just genuine and authentic. I also will just add in a bit of relatability. I want this platform and I want this podcast to be somewhere that's a safe space. It doesn't have to be all formal all the time. So just bear with me and let's go. So since I've incorporated mindfulness into my daily life, I've found myself to be a lot more present, a lot more grounded, and just I feel like a lot more resilient in like sort of different things that come up. I'm much better able to handle stress. And if anything, this has probably been, I want to say, the most stress-free my life has been. But it's not. It's probably been the most stressful my life has been. But somehow it feels like it's a stress-free period because I'm just able to just let things happen and not feel the need to control everything. And I can credit that a lot to mindfulness, mindset work, energy management, working with my body, a lot of gratitude as well, faith. These things helped me a lot. But today we're going to talk about mindfulness. And, I just feel like there's 5 ways that you can sort of incorporate it. The first way is through mindfulness meditation. And this is, you can keep it as simple. You can make it as complicated as simple as you like. I'm going to go with the simple way because you know what? We're busy people. And I recommend that you schedule some time to do mindfulness meditation. Don't just sort of squeeze it in. Try and actually put it in your calendar. Say, okay, or put it in your daily routine. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I'm going to do is meditate for 10 minutes. Or in the evening before bed, I'm going to meditate. Things like that. But focusing on your breathing is a foundational mindfulness practice. All you really need is a comfortable seat, comfortable chair, like somewhere to lie down, and just close your eyes and pay attention to your breath. I recommend that you first bring your attention to the sensation of your breath as it enters and leaves your body. Can you follow the journey of your breath as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth? You might even feel the rise and fall of your chest, the sensation of air passing through your nostrils, or the movement of your diaphragm. I really recommend that you sink into this feeling and just become one with the air that circulates through your lungs and then out through your mouth. I find it so therapeutic. And for me, this is one of the key things that helps me when I feel anxious. Because when I feel anxious, there's so much going on. But if I can just focus on one thing and that just be my breath, then eventually I kind of calm down, and I recommend a lot of my clients do this as well. However, I will say, disclaimer, when I first started doing mindfulness meditation, I found it ridiculously hard to pay attention because my mind was just wandering to different things. It was going all over the place. I just definitely wasn't present. And then I'd beat myself up for not being present. I'd be like, oh my God, Teresa, you're thinking about what you're going to eat later on. You need to be focused on your breath. And I'm like, oh my God, why are you so stupid? That's not the right way to go about it. If you do find your mind just drifting off, just gently guide it back to your breath. That's it. Don't judge it. Don't, add stories behind why you've drifted off and what it means for you as a person. The mind is going to wander. The sooner you accept that, the better meditation practice you'll have. So just draw your mind back to your breath. And every time it wanders, just guide it back. That's it. Don't shame yourself. Just observe your thoughts without judgment. Don't try and control and manipulate them. Just bring them back to your breath. And I promise you, it will get easier over time as you practice regularly. Just start with a few minutes each day and gradually increase the duration as you grow in confidence. However, another disclaimer there will be many disclaimers throughout this. I've kind of focused on other mindfulness practices that I will discuss in this podcast more recently. So I feel like I'm back to beginner stage when it comes to mindfulness meditation. So I'm actually actively trying to bring myself back, and I do get distracted a lot when I do my meditation. I try to do it in the morning when I wake up and just spend a moment just with my breath, just do that before I journal. But I do find it's very easy to be distracted. So don't beat yourself up if you're in a similar position. Mindful body scan is the second one that I recommend you doing. And this is great for like strengthening your mind body connection, which I preach about a lot because I genuinely believe you can't be productive if you just neglect your body. So you really need to strengthen that connection. You can do that through yoga, or you could do it through something as simple as mindful body scan. And basically it is a practice for like of bringing awareness to each part of your body from head to toe. And I like to start, or you can start from your head or you can start from your toes, it depends on what you want. But it's pretty simple. I like to do it before bed as a way just to calm my body down, get used to the sensations of being in bed and just connecting with myself before I go to sleep. It's very, very therapeutic. But again, you can do it in the morning, you could do it anytime. You could do it when you feel emotionally dysregulated. Like I'm telling you, because feelings sit in the body. We like to think our emotions are in our mind, but really the feelings sit in our body. Like when you feel heartbroken, you feel it in your chest. When you feel like happy, you feel it in your body. Like you feel emotions in your body. So the sooner and the better you get at like connecting your mind and body together, like the better you'll be able to emotionally regulate, which is why I really, really, really recommend mindful body scans for emotional regulation. But anyway, if you want to know how to do a body scan, I will just quickly do a debrief of the process. By the way, I have actually written a whole blog post on this. So if you want to check it out, go to my website, thevaluedlife.co.uk, and then click on all the blogs and you can read the whole full version of this. But yeah, so to do a body scan, first you need to lie down in a comfortable position and then close your eyes. Take a few moments to focus on your breath and center yourself in the present moment. And then you'll need to focus your attention on your toes and then gradually shift your attention upwards, scanning each part of your body. So you could go in really tiny, I recommend you go in tiny increments. So like focus on your little toes and then like your like middle toes and then your big toe and then like the sole of your feet and then the back of your ankle and then the front of your ankle and your shin and then your calf and your knees and then your thighs and your hips, your stomach and your back and all the way up and to your head. I recommend you just start small and just work your way through, because then you really focus. And again, whenever you find your mind drifting off, just bring it back to the body part. No judgment, just observe the fact that your thought has drifted away and then just bring it back. Don't shame yourself for it. And then just take a few minutes at each body part, or minutes or moments, depends on how much time you have, and just focus on the sensations that you feel. Like what, like, are you touching? Like, are you wearing clothes? Do you feel the fabric on your body part? Are you lying down? Do you feel the mattress? Do you feel heat? Like, what temperature do you feel? Like, do you feel a bit cold? Do you feel a bit warm? Do you feel any tingling or tension or discomfort? Things like that. Like, really focus on the feelings that are in your body. And it's just, honestly, I love body scans. It's amazing. And also just focus on your breath and how it interacts with each body part. Notice the sensations. And after the body scan, so once I've gone from my toes all the way up to my head, or my head all the way down to my toes. Your choice, by the way. Once I do that, I like to kind of just tie it all together by like thanking my body and, expressing gratitude for the fact that it's got me to where I need to be, that it sustained me all these years, and just really reflecting on the achievements my body has made, as well as the experience of doing a body scan. This whole body scan is just a way to appreciate your body and just connect your mind. So I recommend it. You don't have to do that extra step, but why would you go through your whole body scan and then not thank your body, you know? Okay, so the next mindful tip or the mindful practice that you can incorporate in your daily routine is mindful eating. So, put your hand up if you spend 10 minutes searching for the perfect YouTube video to watch while you eat your dinner. Okay, yeah, I put my hand up. I do. And it's something that I really have to like train my mind not to do, because with mindful eating, you don't put your YouTube video on. You don't distract yourself with podcasts and noise and other things. It's just you and your food. That's it. You're just focusing on it. It's all about paying attention to the experience of eating from the moment the food enters your mouth to the moment you swallow. And for me, I think I found mindful eating the hardest because I'm so used to watching YouTube. To actually just be alone with my food, it just seemed like a foreign concept, So you might struggle with this too. But I really, really, really highly recommend that you incorporate this into your routine. You don't have to do it for every meal, but just do it for like dinner or breakfast, or just pick one meal a day and just make sure that you focus on doing mindfulness or mindful eating during that one specific meal. So the process is pretty simple. Again, you probably noticed a theme throughout those mindful practices that I've been talking about. But first of all, I recommend that you turn off your TV, your laptop, your phone, whatever it is that normally distracts you whilst you're eating. And then just take a moment to express gratitude for the food in front of you. Someone took the time, whether it was you or family or you're at a restaurant, someone took the time to cook that for you. And there was a whole process that got the ingredients to your plate. Just take a moment to like actually be thankful for that. The fact that you get to eat food. And, I know a lot of people go, oh, yeah, that reminds me of like when our parents say, oh, there's children starving in third world countries. Like, you need to be thankful. But let's be real, like, we should be thankful for our food every meal. So once you've expressed gratitude for your meal, look at the food and just, see what like you observe. Like, notice the colors, the shapes, the textures, whether the different food is touching and the color of the plate contrasting against the color of the food. Really just pay attention to the food. And then pay attention to like the smell of the food, does it smell nice? Can you notice the different smells on your plate sort of coming together to make one smell? For example, I had spaghetti bolognese today. And whilst I didn't do mindful eating, if I was going to do it, I would pay attention to see if I can smell the mince and the gravy in the mince and the broccoli and the cauliflower, like whether or not I can notice a difference between it. Just really paying attention. Like you might not, but it's just paying attention to your food in a bit more detail than you normally would. Then, when it's time, focus on how you put your food on your fork, and then when you do take a bite, take really slow bites while noticing the taste, the texture, and the sensation. Notice how your stomach feels as you eat, and then stop eating when you feel satisfied rather than when your plate is empty. Just observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment whilst you're eating this meal. So again, you probably will notice that your mind will wander, you'll get distracted, you'll think of all the random things on your to-do list. Whatever it is, you probably will get distracted. as I've mentioned before, just bring your attention right back to your food, right back to your breathing, and just back in that present moment. And just keep doing that for as long as you need to do. There's no judgment here. And besides, the more you incorporate mindful eating into your routine, the deeper your appreciation for food will grow, and you'll just notice so many different things. And I highly recommend it. It's something that we don't do enough, to be honest. The next mindfulness practice that you can incorporate into your daily routine is mindful walking. And this is something I've been doing for many, many years, before I even realized it was a thing. So when I was studying my A levels, I used to suffer with really, really bad anxiety. Like it was super bad. Like in hindsight, I can say it was very severe, but back then I just thought it was normal. Like it's so sad, but back then we didn't have the information on anxiety like we do now. And I just thought, oh, everyone goes through this. This is just normal when you do your A levels. It's not, but we move. So when I'd have my anxiety attacks, I would just walk and walk and walk and walk and walk and walk. And I would just focus on the things around me that I was seeing as a way to just calm down my mind. And I didn't realize it was mindfulness at the time. It was just survival for me, not gonna lie. But it's something that I do now, and I really try to like get my 10,000 steps in a day. I haven't done it as much since I've moved back to London, but in Manchester I did like 15k steps minimum a day. So it's something I'm trying to get back to. But I always do try to just do some mindful walking, whether it's just 10 minutes or something. So mindful walking is basically very similar to the previous mindfulness examples, except you focus a lot more on the things outside of your body. So when you go for a walk, you pay attention to each step that you take, and you notice the sensation of your feet making contact with the ground and the flow of your body as you walk. You notice your breath throughout your journey. Pay attention to the times when your breathing rate increases and decreases depending on the terrain of the location that you're walking in. And as you go along and you walk, just focus on your breath. Bring your attention back to your breath, and just use I kind of just flow with it. I don't know how to explain that, but just it's very beautiful, especially when there's a breeze in the air. And focus on being present by noticing the sounds that you hear. Like, do you hear birds? Do you hear dogs barking? Do you hear kids laughing at a bus stop? Like, just focus on the different sounds that you hear and what you see and the different smells that come up as you walk on your journey. Is there anything interesting that's happening right in front of your eyes? Like one thing I found when I started doing mindfulness was there's so much going on around me. Like I am literally oblivious. Like I have tunnel vision when I walk. So I don't even pay attention to anything. So when I started incorporating mindfulness into my routine, it blew my mind, because just life is crazy. Like there's people arguing around, there's birds and like animals having little disputes. Like you see really cool things like squirrels just eating on a acorn, and just it's cool. Like you see little birds or you see caterpillars, you see nature. Like I've seen some crazy things in nature, like a bee being caught in a spider's web and then just watching the spider crawling closer to the bee. Like I never would have noticed that unless I was like practicing mindful walking. I find it so fascinating, and it just makes me feel 10 times more connected to the world. Like I just feel so grounded. I feel like I'm safe. I feel like I can let go of all of my worries when I focus on mindfulness, especially whilst I'm walking. It just puts things into perspective, Like when you're in your moment and you're stressing about all the things going wrong in your life, when you go for a walk and you just pay attention to nature and all the different things going on, you realize that your problems aren't that big, and that no matter what, you will be fine. Like things will work its way out. And there's something really freeing about that, you know? So I really recommend mindful walking. That is something that you can actually just incorporate. You know, you can literally go for a walk. Like when you walk to your bus stop, you know, when you walk to a car park, just that little 5 minute, 2 minute, whatever distance break it is, just focus on what you see, hear, smell, and all the things going on around you. It's so simple to incorporate, and the benefits are huge. So, the final way that I'm going to talk about practice mindfulness, it's not the final way, full stop. You can do some more research if you want. But the final thing that I'm going to talk about is mindful productivity. So, if you know me, you know that I am the mindful productivity queen. It is all I talk about. It is my whole methodology. It is how I am able to achieve so much without burning out, without stressing out completely, without having a breakdown. You know, like these are things that I used to do very often. But since I incorporated mindful productivity, like I'm kind of just chilling. Like I do so much more, but with so much less stress, which is always great. So I teach my clients this. I talk about it on my Instagram, on my blog. Like I'm only going to talk about mindful productivity, okay? And it's basically just incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine, but also into your productivity methods or your productivity system, whatever that is. So, like, it starts by identifying whether or not your goals are in alignment with your values, and, you know, just making sure that you know what your values are and that everything is streamlined, because then it just makes things so much easier. And I will do a whole blog post about how to identify your values and what values-based living is, because again, that is my like values-based living changed my life as well. But again, that's another episode. Um, but yeah, like things like setting an intention for the week and what you want to achieve, and really just taking the time to work with yourself as you like go through your productivity system. So like, you know, time blocking and day theming to schedule your tasks in timings that work for you. So for example, if you know you're an early riser, why would you schedule an intense task in the afternoon when you know your brain's gonna like drop? You know, so you schedule your intense task in the morning. And the only way you're going to really know what your energy levels are and how to work with your body is through mindfulness and checking in with yourself. So doing body scan meditations and, you know, evaluating it, mindful journaling, you know. So when you do have those days where you feel super productive, look into the things that you've done to promote that, and then do those things more often. It's just working with yourself. It's so simple, but so many people skip this step. You know, taking mindful breaks, going for a walk, doing mindful walking, you know, or mindful eating, you know, doing a meditation, you know, things like that. Just incorporating it into your routine. Like those things are energy boosting activities. So even if you do 5-10 minutes a day or just schedule some time, it makes a big difference overall. You know, practice doing deep work. So instead of multitasking and trying to do 10 things at once, pick a task and focus only on that task. That's it. Like every time your mind drifts and goes, oh, I need to check my email, I need to do this. Nope. Bring your attention right back to the one task that you need to do. You know, you can use the Pomodoro technique, which is like 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of break, over and over again to increase your concentration. But like, yeah, just focus on one task and just do it in a designated time. Don't shame yourself. You know, embrace your imperfection. You're going to get distracted, you know, and sometimes you're going to work towards things and you're going to be kind of disappointed on how it looks. Doesn't matter. You can improve, but you can't improve on nothing. When you are like distracted and you procrastinate and you don't do anything, there's nothing to improve on. Whereas if you just start small, you know, start on a single task and work on it, then at least you can improve and build on it. You know, so I also recommend you reflect regularly. So I use a bullet journal. I do a daily summary every day. I do a weekly review where I ask myself certain questions like, was I in alignment with my values? What went well this week? What didn't go so well this week? What will I do differently next week? Any favorite memories or lessons learned from this week? And just doing this weekly review helps me improve the next week. So I'm constantly moving forward. And if I have a bad week, I don't let it drag on to the next week. I can just box it off. That was a bad week. And now we're moving on to the next week. And next week's going to be better. And I actually have a whole blog post with 38 sort of end of week, end of month journal prompts that will help you realign your life and incorporate mindful productivity into your routine. So check that out on thevaluedlife.co.uk if that's something you're interested in. So I hope these tips help you practice mindfulness like more often and incorporate into your daily routine. The reason I am a big advocate for simple ways of promoting like mindfulness is because I used to suffer with extreme anxiety, and like I mentioned this throughout this episode, but I was a really anxious person. I feel like I came out of the womb anxious, and I feel like maybe my personality will always have this underlying layer of anxiety, whereas now I can manage it, but when I was younger I couldn't, and I suffered a lot because of it. And I burnt out a lot. I became depressed often. It caused so many different problems. Like, it wasn't just related to my productivity, but it was in my friendships and relationships. Like, it can spiral very quickly when you're anxious. So mindfulness is just a way of grounding yourself, bringing you back to your body and bringing you back to the world. And it just helps you so much. Like, so many psychological studies have shown the benefits of mindfulness. This is why I preach it so much. It makes a big difference. I've seen a difference not only in myself, but in my clients and my friends and family around me that practice mindfulness. So I had to learn the hard way that hustle culture and grinding and going and going and going and ignoring anxiety, ignoring my body's call for help is not the way to go forward. Like, you have to find a more sustainable way, and mindful productivity is the way to be sustainable in your productivity journey. Like, you deserve to achieve, like, to have a life where you achieve your goals without just crumbling. Like, your life and your achievement of goals doesn't have to be a sacrifice of your body and your mental health and well-being. You deserve so much more than that. So, as I like to say, remember, life is for living. This is literally your one life. So, like, do what you can to get the most out of it. And mindfulness is one of the ways that you can do that. It just calms everything down. It slows life down. It's amazing. And if you want to have a deeper dive and into your productivity system, and you want to learn more about mindfulness, and you want to achieve more without burning out, and you want to stop procrastinating and conquer your fear of failure, then I offer one-to-one coaching. So if you go to my website, thevaluedlife.co.uk/PPA, then it will take you to my webpage, which is about the Perfectionist Productivity Accelerator, which is a 90-minute intensive coaching session where we just go through everything. We come up with a detailed action plan. You get a personalized visualization recording as well, which is amazing. Like, you could listen to it anytime, any day. You get the recording of the session. You get personalized journal prompts. Like, it's just a great way to supercharge your productivity. If you don't want to do the Perfectionist Productivity Accelerator, there are other ways too. Just drop me a message. But I hope you found this episode interesting and helpful. This is my first ever podcast episode, and stay tuned for more productivity tips, well-being tips, mindfulness tips for perfectionists. And remember, life is for living, guys, okay?